Ladies and gentlemen, we are witnessing a clumsy, dangerous spectacle on the global stage where the lead actors are flubbing their own lines, and the consequence will be an irreversible tragedy. 1. The Middle East charade. A ceasefire is just another name for reloading a ceasefire. What a sanitized term for a brutal reality. Both sides, Iran and Israel, ran out of steam in the first round and needed time to bandage their wounds, count their remaining munitions, and plan a more devastating second act. On the US and Trump, do not believe the narrative of Trump, the peacemaker. This was pure damage control. The one-time US strike on Iran's nuclear facilities was not a finishing blow. It was a performative punch. The real conspiracy? Trump needed a foreign policy win for his campaign, but he feared a full-blown war that would send oil prices skyrocketing and crash the stock market. So, he manufactured a crisis, threw a symbolic punch, and then rushed to declare peace in our time. Meanwhile, his own defense intelligence agency, DIA, admits they failed. Iran had already moved its prized uranium. The US threw billions of dollars in missiles at nearly empty buildings. On Iran, they did not let off steam. The attack on the Al Udeid base was a message calculated to the millimeter. It was a declaration. We can touch you, right in your allies' backyard. This time it's a warning. Next time, it will be annihilation. Their willingness to return to the negotiating table is merely a stalling tactic. They know the West is weary. They will use diplomacy as a smokescreen for a clandestine nuclear program that is accelerating in some deep underground facility where American satellites are blind. On Israel, they are the most enraged party. Netanyahu started a war he could not finish on his own. The Iron Dome was 95% effective. That number is meant to hide a terrifying truth. The other 5% got through. Iran's Fatah 1 hypersonic missile proved that no defense is invincible. Avigdor Lieberman's warning is a prophecy. The next war is coming, and Israel will be in a much worse position. The unthinkable prediction. Few dare to voice. The next confrontation won't start with missiles. It will begin with a massive cyber attack that cripples Israel's power grid or financial system, or an assassination of a high-level Iranian official in Europe, triggering an uncontrollable chain of retaliation. Iran's sleeper agents are not just a threat in the Middle East, they are embedded and ready to act inside the US and Europe. The FBI knows this, which is why they are frantically pulling agents off the border. 2. The Ukrainian chessboard. Putin is winning a war of global attrition. While the world was distracted by Israel, Putin was quietly tightening his noose. The perfect trap. The war in Ukraine is not just about territory. It is a strategic trap designed to bleed the West's arsenals dry. Every $30 million SM-3 missile fired to protect Israel is one less the US Navy has to counter China in the Pacific. Every aid package to Ukraine is another strain on NATO budgets, fueling internal division. Putin doesn't need to defeat NATO on the battlefield. He just needs to exhaust them economically and politically. Sapsan, hope or hallucination. Ukraine's Sapsan missile is an admirable achievement, but it's a dagger in a rifle fight. Russia is advancing along the entire front with a force that is constantly replenished. Ukraine is running out of men. The Sapsan may cause tactical pain, but it cannot change the strategic reality of a war of attrition that Russia is winning. The UK pulling its trainers for safety reasons is a polite excuse. The truth is they are seeing a sinking ship. The unthinkable prediction. Few dare to voice. Putin's next target is not Kyiv. It is to trigger a humanitarian and migrant crisis in Europe this winter by targeting Ukraine's remaining energy infrastructure. Simultaneously, he will exploit America's distraction in the Middle East to make a bold move in the Baltics or destabilize the Balkans, directly testing NATO's Article 5, knowing full well that Trump is skeptical of it. 3. America and the delusion of absolute power. The Trump administration is behaving like a dying empire, projecting immense power abroad to mask the deep fractures within. NATO, an alliance for sale. Trump's comment about many definitions of Article 5 inches was not a mix-up. It was a clear threat. Pay up or you're on your own. He is turning the most powerful military alliance in history into a protection racket. European nations are raising their defense spending not out of a belief in unity, but out of a fear of abandonment. Golden Dome, Golden Shield, or budget black hole. $175 billion for a global missile shield. This is a science fiction fantasy sold to the public. While the US is still testing radar, Iran already has hypersonic missiles, and Russia and China are years ahead. This is not a defense program, it's a massive welfare program for the military-industrial complex. America is devouring itself. The fact that the FBI must pull counter-terror agents from immigration duties reveals the stark truth. America is stretched too thin. It cannot police its border, manage global threats, and maintain domestic order all at once. America's enemies know this, and they are exploiting it. The grand, boldest prediction of all, the ceasefire in the Middle East was, in fact, a backroom deal brokered by Qatar between Trump and Iran. Trump needed stability to win an election. Iran needed time to finish its nuclear weapon. The deal likely involves a U.S. commitment to turn a blind eye as Iran's nuclear program advances to a certain threshold, in exchange for Iran not creating a major crisis until after the U.S. election. Israel was left out in the cold, which is why they are furious. This is a textbook case of betraying an ally where short-term political expediency trumps long-term security. The world does not run on ideals, it runs on fear and greed, and right now, both are at a boiling point. Prepare for a reckoning you cannot yet imagine.